Hey, what's going on, guys? The Horror Man back with the next review of the Fangoria Challenge. This time, Jason and I watched The Legend of Hell House. The Legend of Hell House is a 1973 horror film, directed by John Hoff. Richard Matheson wrote the screenplay, based on his own novel, Hell House. And of course, according to Fangoria in this book, The Legend of Hell House is one of the 101 best horror movies you've never seen. A wealthy man recently bought a mansion known as Hell House. It once belonged to a man named Emmerich Belasco, whose nickname was the Roaring Giant. Belasco was known for promoting orgies in his house, and after a massacre there in the 20s, he mysteriously disappeared. That was when the Belasco house became known as Hell House. Then, in the early 50s, a paranormal team was sent there to investigate, but only one man escaped with his life and his mental capacities intact. Now, the new owner of the house has hired physicist Dr. Lionel Barrett to lead a new team in an investigation. The team includes Dr. Barrett's wife, mental and spiritual medium Florence Tanner, and physical medium Ben Fisher, the sole survivor from the 1950s investigation. The team is given 1 week to report their findings, and it will all come to an end on Christmas Eve. And so, they arrive at Hell House, and the fun begins. Almost immediately, bizarre things start happening. A series of accidents and mishaps leads the team to believe that the house is definitely still haunted. But whose spirit is it haunting Hell House? Is it Belasco himself? What actually happened to him when he mysteriously disappeared after the massacre? And who, if anyone, will survive this time? The Legend of Hell House is a really good haunted house movie. If I'm being honest, the first time I watched this, which was almost 20 years ago, I wasn't much of a fan. I remember watching it with my mom at the time, and she loved it. This time, however, I loved it. In fact, in a ranking of my favorite haunted house films, this would probably rank pretty high. Above all else, it is extremely atmospheric. The house is incredible. It's an extra character. And that means something in a movie like this, since it has a very small cast. Interestingly, I find this movie to be a bit claustrophobic, despite taking place in such a huge mansion. We are really only watching 4 characters interact the entire time. In a way, it makes everything seem smaller, like the cast. And the term small is very important with The Legend of Hell House, but I won't say why. I like that the date and time is frequently posted on the screen throughout the film. Coincidentally, it coincides with this year. For example, December 21st is on a Tuesday, and December 21st is on a Tuesday this year. Jason and I thought that was pretty cool. A lot of haunted house films can be really slow burns, but The Legend of Hell House is different in that way. A lot happens in this, and it starts right away and never really lets up. Even if it's just furniture moving or things falling, stuff like that, a lot happens. There isn't necessarily a whole lot of build-up because something is constantly going on. It gives a fresh pace to the haunted house genre. Although the movie is rated PG, there are some sexual overtones and even some brief nudity. I know Richard Matheson cut a lot of the sexual stuff from his novel for the screenplay, but it still has a subtle presence. If you enjoy haunted house films, I highly recommend The Legend of Hell House. And I also recommend A Name for Evil. This is another obscure, never talked about haunted house movie from 1973. The same year as The Legend of Hell House. I've always been a fan of this one, again, mainly for the atmosphere. And A Name for Evil definitely also has some sexual overtones and some nudity. I only mention that because it's pretty significant to the plot. Those who have seen it will know why. But have you seen The Legend of Hell House? If so, what do you think of it? Comment below and let me know. And of course, please be sure to check out Jason's review. What will we watch and review next for the Fangoria challenge? Check back soon to find out. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit that thumbs up and be kind. Subscribe.